Barron Trump calls the cops on Jasmine Crockett. After she exposed Melania on live TV, if taxpayers are paying for caviar while kids can't afford lunch, the First Lady owes America an apology right now. The sentence exploded across every news ticker within 60 seconds. Barron Trump saw it first on a muted TV in the East Wing family room. He was lacing up sneakers, planning a late-night shoot-around when the Chiron flashed Crockett calls out Melania in blood-red font. The clip looped Representative Jasmine Crockett leaning toward the camera, voice-calm words sharp enough to draw blood. Barron's stomach pinched. He'd watched reporters snipe at his parents for years, but this felt different, closer, meaner. Crockett hadn't just questioned a policy, she'd painted his mom as a grifter in designer heels, and the hosts had let her. No pushback, no proof, just a viral soundbite destined for 1 million retweets. He muted the TV, grabbed the remote, then stopped. Silencing it wouldn't erase it. By dawn, everyone at his prep academy would have seen the clip spliced into memes layered with clown horns. He pictured locker room smirks, TikTok stitches the word caviar tossed at him like gum wrappers. A news alert dinged on his phone. At your luxury Melania, trending at number 4. He paced. At 18, he'd managed to keep his profile low, no interviews, no scandal reels. Now, overnight, he was collateral in a fight he never picked. He opened Twitter to gauge the damage. Thousands of comments scrolled, "Why is Melania spending our money?" Defund East Wing parties. Barron should learn what real lunch debt looks like. Something hot curled in his chest. His mom wasn't perfect, sure, but she wasn't a thief. The events at Mar-a-Lago, mostly charity galas and diplomatic mixers, stuff protocol demanded. He'd been at half of them, bored stiff, beside floral arches, watching ambassadors make small talk. They weren't secret orgies of taxpayer cash. And yet, Crockett spoke as if she'd uncovered Watergate on the buffet line. Barron thumbed a private family group chat. Barron, did anyone see Crockett just now? Ivanka on a flight? Not yet. Don Giger. Ignore her. Haters gonna hate. Useless. He needed action, not hashtags. He thought about calling a lawyer, but at 11 p.m., the West Wing staff would be skeleton crew. Any official statement would take hours, maybe days. By then, the narrative would be cemented. He pictured headlines, White House silent on lavish spending accusations. No, he had to flip the script. Fast. He opened the D.C. Metropolitan Police web portal. His cursor hovered over File Online Report. He wasn't a snowflake, he'd never dialed 911 for bullies, but Crockett's remarks felt like more than politics. They invited harassment, maybe security threats. Trolls loved to turn rumors into doxing. If anything happened to his mom because some congresswoman tossed gasoline on primetime TV who would answer for it, he inhaled, typed, nature of complaint, harassment, incitement by public official. Details. Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett made unsubstantiated financial misconduct claims against First Lady Melania Trump, causing online threats toward family. Request formal record for security review. He hesitated over the submit button. Was this overreacting? Would cops laugh? Maybe. But a filed report created a timestamp proof he'd tried to protect his family. That mattered. Click. A confirmation number popped up. In less than a minute, an automatic email landed from Sergeant Michael DeLuca, D.C. Metro Liaison. We will contact you for clarification within 24 hours. Barron exhaled a rush of relief mixed with adrenaline. Action felt better than outrage. Down the hall, footsteps. The door cracked. Annetta Kohler, his mother's chief of staff, peeked in. "You're still up? Couldn't sleep," he said, clicking the TV sound back on low. Crockett's clip replayed yet again, anchors dissecting each word like gospel. Annetta's face tightened. "She blindsided us," she muttered. "Comms team is drafting a response." "Draft faster," Barron said before he could filter the edge in his voice. "They're turning Mom into Marie Antoinette." Annetta blinked at his urgency. "We'll handle it." He almost told her about the police report, but stopped. Better to present it after the fact fait accompli. If it worked, great. If it blew up, he'd own it. Annetta tugged her blazer. "Go get some rest." When she left, Barron's phone pinged again. TikTok push. "First Lady funds caviar parties, what you need to know." He tossed the phone onto the couch, heart pounding. Sleep was hopeless. He slipped on a hoodie, slid out into the hallway, and followed the marble corridor past portraits of presidents who'd survived wars worse than hashtags. He wondered whether any of them had teenagers who'd felt this powerless. Outside, the south lawn was dark except for security floodlights. Barron bounced a basketball under one arm, rhythmic thuds echoing across manicured grass. Each bounce was a thought. She's lying. Mom's innocent. Do something. On the third lap of the court, he made a decision. Tomorrow, he'd call that sergeant, give a full statement, make sure the report wasn't buried. Then he'd push comms to release the real expense log, the one with charity receipts, embassy invoices, Secret Service mandates. Transparency might sting, but rumor would bleed. The clock on his watch read 12:14 a.m., day one of a fight he hadn't asked for, but one he refused to lose. Back inside, TV pundits were already pivoting from budget talk to personal drama. One panelist smirked, "Wonder if the first son will tweet back." They didn't know he'd skipped tweets and gone straight to badge numbers. He shut off the television. For the first time that night, the room fell silent. His pulse slowed, resolve solidifying like cooling metal. Let them spin. Tomorrow the facts would get their turn, and he would make sure the record began with a single-line official complaint filed by Barron Trump. Morning light cut across the east wing windows long before Barron was ready. He dozed in sweatpants on the couch phone, buzzing every 10 minutes with fresh mentions. He rubbed his eyes and scanned headlines. Crockett doubles down, show us the receipts. White House silent. Barron Trump posts cryptic tweet. He hadn't tweeted anything. At 7:12 a.m., the Metro Police number flashed. He answered on the first ring. "Mr. Trump, Sergeant DeLuca. Your online complaint came through. We log a lot of social media disputes, but a congressional statement makes it higher priority. I just need a brief confirmation you filed intentionally." "I did," Barron said, voice steady. The remarks triggered threats. "I want an incident report on file in case security escalates." DeLuca paused, maybe surprised by how formal the teenager sounded. "Understood. We'll classify it as informational, forward to Secret Service liaison. Anything further?" "Yes. I'd like a copy emailed to me." "Will do, sir." He hung up. Step 1 locked. He showered, changed into a navy polo, and walked to the family dining room, heart thudding. Melania sat at the table, untouched tea cooling beside her. She looked tired but poised. Annetta stood behind tablet in hand. Melania nodded for him to sit. "I hear you stayed up late." "Couldn't sleep." He braced for scolding. Instead, she reached over, squeezed his wrist. "I saw what she said, too." Annetta cleared her throat. Comms drafted a statement correcting figures citing state dinner protocols and charitable proceeds. "It's safe and boring." "Boring won't trend," Barron muttered. Melania's eyebrow lifted. She'd heard, but didn't chide. "What would you suggest?" He swallowed. "Release the real expense sheets, line by line. Preempt Crockett's narrative." Annetta grimaced. "Full transparency invites cherry picking. Numbers without context spin fast." "Context exists," Barron countered. "Put footnotes, attach the State Department memos, security invoices, everything. If we hide, she wins." Annetta started to reply, but Melania raised a hand. "Let me think." Before anyone spoke again, Secret Service Agent Brooks stepped in, earpiece buzzing. "Ma'am, sir, media trucks lining up on Pennsylvania. They're asking if the first son filed a police report." Barron's pulse jumped. He hadn't told them. Yeah, I did." Annetta's eyes widened. "You filed with Metro." He nodded, cheeks heating but not regretful. "It creates a paper trail." Melania exhaled, half laugh, half sigh. "You have your father's sense of drama." Agent Brooks pressed the earpiece. Fox Nation and Capitol Lens both leading with the report story. Annetta shook her head. "We're behind already." Barron opened his phone. Sure enough, screenshots of the police log his name, partially redacted, circulated. Some accounts mocked him, rich kid dials 911 over mean words. Others applauded. Finally, the Trumps fight back. He looked at his mom. "I can own it. I'll do cameras, explain why I filed." Melania studied him, searching. "It's not your job." "Maybe it is today," Annetta interjected. "If he goes public, we coordinate." Talking points, backdrop, short statement. Melania rose. Decision made. Then we do it properly. 11 o'clock. Palm room. Keep it brief and civil. Jasmine Crockett's office uploaded a new video at 9:30. Barron watched from the green room while Combs applied a dab of powder to his forehead. The Congresswoman stood beside a giant poster of highlighted invoices. If the East Wing believes transparency is harassment, they can call the cops again. I'm calling for a bipartisan audit of First Lady expenditures, effective immediately. Reporters cheered like fans at a pep rally. Barron's jaw tightened. Audit. That word would feed cable for weeks. The staffer tugged his sleeve 3 minutes. He stepped toward the small podium Melania usually used for charity announcements. Cameras clicked. He took a breath. Good morning. Last night I filed an informational report with D.C. Metro Police after Representative Crockett's televised claims about my mother led to online threats and doxing attempts against my family. The report is not about silencing oversight. It's about documenting potential security risks when rhetoric turns reckless. Flashbulbs burst. He continued. My mother's events at Mar-a-Lago include veterans fundraisers, hurricane relief galas, and diplomatic receptions required by protocol. Today, the East Wing will publish certified expense records, including reimbursements and charitable offsets, so the public can judge with facts, not insinuations. He steadied his voice. I respect Congress's duty. I ask Representative Crockett to respect that my mother is a private citizen serving in a public role, not a punching bag for viral fame. Questions flew, but Agent Brooks wrapped it fast. Barron stepped back, heart-hammering. Melania met him in the corridor, eyes glossy. You spoke well, she whispered. Hope it helps, he said. By afternoon, downloads of the expense PDF crashed the White House site twice. Twitter split into factions. Outrage, show us more versus Sauls apologized Crockett. Pundits analyzed Barron's statement frame by frame. Sergeant DeLuca emailed the official incident file, CCing Secret Service, no further action required unless threats escalate. Fine, Barron thought. Escalation isn't mine to start, but I won't flinch if it comes. That evening, he jogged the South Lawn again, earbuds pumping lo-fi beats while CNN on a guard's radio reported Crockett calls Barron's move a distraction tactic, but welcomes the document dump. He bounced the ball, looked at the stars peeking through D.C. haze, and wondered how long before transparency actually ended a rumor. Maybe never. But at least he'd forced the conversation to include his family's side. On his phone, a single text from an unknown number appeared. Tough day. Proud of how you handled it. 45. Barron smiled despite everything, turned up the music, and kept dribbling into the night. The audit demand landed less than 24 hours after Barron's press conference. House Oversight's chair, a Democrat from Oregon, sent a formal letter to the East Wing Produce full supporting documents within 7 days. News crews framed it as checkmate. Barron watched the coverage from a Situation Room side office, gripping a styrofoam cup until it bent. Counselor McCabe, a veteran West Wing lawyer, slid a folder across the table. We've got nothing illegal here, but optics are poison. The committee will cherry-pick any typo. They already are, Barron muttered. McCabe kept his tone calm. We comply, but we do it smart. Summaries, footnotes, sworn affidavits from the charities. Your mother signs none of it. I will. Barron nodded, half-listening eyes drifting to a split screen on the wall. Jasmine Crockett stood on Capitol steps, microphone forest in front of her. We welcome any documents, she said. If the Trumps want transparency, let's talk under oath. Reporters cheered again. She knew the camera loved a dare. By lunchtime, trolls had a new gimmick tagging the Secret Service account with fake threats to prove Barron cried wolf. One posted a photo of caviar tins next to school lunch trays. Another pinned his home high school's address under a caption, Guess who skips the line? The agency flagged dozens, but each takedown bred 10 more. Agent Brooks delivered an update. Online chatter up 300%. Most is performative, but 3 accounts crossed state lines. We're coordinating with cyber forensics. Barron felt a flash of guilt. Filing the report had sparked attention. Now, agents had to play whack-a-mole. Still ignoring it would have painted a target just as bright. That evening, Melania convened a tight circle, Annetta McCabe Barron, in a private study. She wore no makeup, hair pulled back, accent heavy with fatigue. I will testify if required, she said. McCabe shook his head. Not yet. Staff can handle first wave. It looks like hiding, she replied. Barron spoke before he could weigh the words. Mom, you already gave them 600 pages. If that isn't enough, nothing will be. She gave him a grateful look, but held her ground. Sometimes seeing a face ends the gossip. Barron understood the subtext. She was tired of being spoken about and never spoken to. Annetta tapped the tablet. There's another angle. Charities benefiting from the events could step up publicly. Spotlights shift when beneficiaries speak. Arrange it, Melania said. Day 3 broke with rain. Barron scrolled Twitter between classes. One headline eased the knot in his stomach. Wounded Warriors Foundation confirms East Wing Gala raised $5.1 million, a 0% taxpayer funds. Another, UNICEF credits Mar-a-Lago reception for record children's vaccine drive. The stories weren't flashy, but they diluted Crockett's narrative. He forwarded the links to Annetta. She answered with a single thumbs-up emoji, rare enthusiasm. The optimism lasted until mid-afternoon. A low-level committee staffer leaked an Excel sheet annotated in red, possible duplication of security charges. No context, no explanation, just a number circled in anger. Hashtags flipped, Jajalia double dip Melania rocketed to trending. Cable hosts called it the smoking invoice. McCabe groaned. It's standard Secret Service overlap, he said, tossing the printout onto the desk. 2 agencies build the same perimeter sweep. Accounting reconciles later. But in public hands, it looks like fraud. Barron clenched his jaw. They'll never print the reconciliation. Then we show it ourselves, McCabe replied. But Jasmine beat them again. She tweeted a photo of the red circled cell with the caption, $5,000 buys a lot of school lunches. Her followers ran with it. Context dead on arrival. Barron slammed his laptop shut. She doesn't want facts. She wants scalpels. Melania placed a calm hand on his shoulder. Then we stay patient. Truth has longer legs. He wanted to believe it, yet every minute online felt like running uphill in sand. That night, during a lull in the rain, Barron escaped to the deserted basketball court. The rhythmic bounce echoed off wet pavement, a steady metronome to clear his head. On the 9th shot, his phone vibrated. Unknown number again. Keep your composure. Optics matter more than invoices. Dad, he exhaled. Composure. He lined up a free throw, let it fly, watched the ball swish cleanly through the net. Small proof that control was still possible. Back inside, he opened a blank document titled Hearing Prep. If Congress wanted showtime, he'd be ready, charts, testimonies, maybe even video tours of events they called parties, but he called obligations. He typed a header, Why Security Costs Duplicate. He listed guard shifts, canine sweeps, magnetometers, then paused. Would numbers sway a public that loved punchlines? Maybe not. But the record would stand the same way the police file stood. At 1 a.m., he saved the file and glanced out the window. The rain had stopped. The city lights glowed against slick streets. For the first time in 3 days, the trending panel on his phone didn't show his family's name. It wouldn't last, he knew. Tomorrow, Jasmine might drop another spreadsheet, yet each cycle taught him to move quicker, speak clearer, stay calm. He powered down the screen, whispered a silent promise to himself, they can spin, but I won't spiral. Then he finally slept, armored by facts and the faint hope that patience like truth could still outpace a storm. The committee deadline arrived on a clear Tuesday morning. A courier rolled in 4 bankers' boxes of paperwork, every receipt, email, and security memo the East Wing could legally release. Barron helped tape the lids, his signature printed on each inventory form. By noon, the boxes sat like sealed coffins before the oversight clerk. Cameras flashed, reporters yelled questions he wasn't allowed to answer. Still, his presence was calculated. Optics. I'm not hiding. Inside the Capitol, staffers dove on the file, certain a bombshell lurked within. Outside, Jasmine held an impromptu presser. Transparency isn't a photo op, she said, voice smooth. The real test is whether the numbers add up. Barron watched the clip from a limo window. He muttered they will. That evening, accountants live-streamed themselves combing the PDFs. A CPA on TikTok ran color-coded spreadsheets while 80,000 viewers watched like it was esports. After 2 hours, she shrugged. Duplications reconcile on page 147. No fraud here, just ugly government bookkeeping. The clip went viral for accountants anyway. It didn't trend, but it seeped. Then something unexpected. A Dallas middle school teacher posted a heartfelt thread. Her class had compared Crockett's red circle tweet to the full invoice package and concluded the congresswoman's figure was misleading without context. Screenshots of the kids' poster board spread fast. Math before rage trended regionally. For the first time, momentum tilted. Jasmine countered with a new angle. Why were spa treatments billed at all? She waved a flagged invoice during a CNN hit. What she didn't mention, because the memo line was cropped, was that the charges covered aromatherapy for disabled veterans attending a PTSD retreat. Annetta texted Barron the full page. He forwarded it to the same CPA who posted a side-by-side within minutes. Comment sections lit up context matters. Cable shows began framing the battle as teenage son versus savvy congresswoman. The narrative felt odd. He wasn't a policy expert, just stubborn. Yet pundits admitted Barron's calm fact drops were working. Every exaggeration Jasmine pushed now faced immediate source checks by citizen analysts hungry for clout. 2 days later, Oversight scheduled a public hearing. Witness list, Treasury Liaison, Secret Service Logistics Chief, 2 charity directors, and Barron Trump invited not subpoenaed. McCabe warned, "You can decline." He didn't hesitate. "I'll go." Preparation was brutal. Mock hearings in a windowless briefing room, staff firing hostile questions. Why duplicate charges? Who approved spa invoices? Where's the line between diplomacy and indulgence? Each answer had to be bulletproof, yet simple enough for a Chiron. At 11 p.m., Melania stepped into the practice session, eyes soft. "You don't have to carry this." "It's already on my back," he said, throat tight. "And I'm standing up straight." She hugged him, rare, formal, but real. When she left, McCabe whispered, "Remember, steady tone. Facts first, feelings last." Barron exhaled, recited his opening again. Madam Chair, my mother's events were mission-driven, not luxury vacations." The words felt lighter, each repetition like muscle memory replacing fear. On the eve of the hearing, Jasmine tweeted a final jab. "Tomorrow we separate truth from privilege." Barron read it while looking out over the silent South Lawn. He typed nothing back. Instead, he opened his notes app and wrote a single line he planned to ad-lib after hours of scripted testimony. "Privilege isn't avoiding scrutiny. Privilege is assuming your accusation becomes fact before the evidence is read." He stared at the sentence, then let the phone screen darken. The line wasn't for Jasmine. It was for every viewer who'd decide whether numbers mattered more than noise. He pocketed the phone, feeling the steadiness McCabe preached settle into his bones. In 13 hours, the room would be hot with cameras and gavel raps. He pictured the scene, took one slow breath, and whispered to the night facts, first feelings last. Thursday, 9th a.m., room 2154, Rayburn overflowed. Reporters pressed shoulder-to-shoulder lenses, fogging against warm studio lights. C-SPAN banners scrolled, "Special Session, FLOTUS Expenditures." Barron sat at the witness table, spine, straight, hands folded. On either side, Treasury's deputy comptroller and a silver-haired Secret Service chief flanked him like bookends of authority. The gavel cracked. "Hearing will come to order." Chair Donnelly outlined the agenda, then gestured. "Mr. Trump, your statement." Barron adjusted the mic. "Madam Chair, members, thank you. Last week, Representative Crockett alleged wasteful spending by the Office of the First Lady. Today, I offer documents showing every dollar's destination: veterans' rehabilitation galas, children's vaccine drives, and diplomatic receptions mandated by statute." He slid 3 binders toward staff. "I welcome questions." He finished in 5 measured minutes, no flourish, no blame. Donnelly nodded approval. Cameras captured Jasmine leaning back, pen twitching. The Treasury liaison spoke next, confirming reimbursements, explaining duplicate invoices. The jargon was dense. Spectators fidgeted. Finally, Donnelly opened cross-examination. All eyes snapped to Jasmine. She rose, slowly, a showman's timing. "Mr. Trump, are you aware a spa vendor labeled aromatherapy on invoice 429B?" She flashed a poster of the cropped charge. "Yes." Barron kept voice level. "That service occurred during a PTSD retreat for Purple Heart recipients. Page 83 has their thank you letters. Staffers distributed copies." Jasmine pivoted. "Fine. Invoice 5127C imported orchids for a UN Women's Leadership Summit. The florist was the only one meeting State Department biosecurity rules." He pointed to a USDA waiver stapled behind the bill. Murmurs rippled. Jasmine's next slide showed a gelato bar receipt. $17,000 for dessert. Feels excessive. Barron didn't flinch. 700 diplomats diabetic safe options shipping dry ice from Naples because the Italian delegation underwrote half the cost. Their embassy reimbursed the Treasury within 30 days. He tapped binder 2. Page 146. A few reporters glanced at phones, fact-checking in real time. Tweets popped, binder receipts match. Jasmine's rhythm faltered. She reached for a final card. So you contest none of these expenses or personal indulgence. He inhaled, slipping the ad-lib sentence free. Privilege isn't avoiding scrutiny, Representative. Privilege is assuming an accusation becomes fact before evidence is read. The gallery hissed a blunt hit, yet delivered without heat. Donnelly rapped the gavel once. Jasmine's cheeks colored. No further questions, she said, and sat. Republican members seized the momentum, praising transparency. Democrats pressed technical minutiae but found little spark. The Secret Service chief explained duplicated security lines. The charity directors testified remotely, each citing net proceeds far above costs. After 4 hours, Donnelly recessed. Outside microphones crowded Barron. He repeated 3 words. McCabe drilled numbers over noise. Then he stepped aside, leaving accountants to spin their spreadsheets on cable loops. Evening coverage split along usual seams, but tone shifted. CNN's fact-checker admitted many charges show clear public purpose. A Slate headline read, "Crockett's receipts need receipts." Reddit threads in our politics, typically hostile, upvoted the TikTok CPA's color-coded breakdown. One comment floated to the top, "Guy just defended a ledger better than half of Congress defends a bill." Jasmine joined MSNBC at 8 p.m., insisting optics still matter. Yet when the host pressed for a single illegitimate expense, she promised to keep digging. The exchange clipped poorly, searching not striking. Meanwhile, Wounded Warriors posted a late-night video. 2 veterans from the PTSD retreat thanked the East Wing for unexpected dignity. The clip soared past 1 million views before dawn, dwarfing Jasmine's last tweet. Past midnight, Barron sat on the Truman balcony, city lights pulsing. Annetta texted a screenshot Paul, who seemed more credible today, 62%, Barron 25%, Crockett 13%, unsure. He allowed a small smile, but not victory. McCabe's voice echoed, "Truth has longer legs." Behind every percentage lay another cycle, another headline. Yet today, the facts had run a little farther than the noise. He closed the phone and looked toward the Capitol dome, now still against the sky. For the first time in a week, the silence felt earned. Tomorrow would bring new angles, probably spa jokes, but tonight numbers had spoken, and people, at least for a moment, had listened. Barron woke to rain tapping the residence windows, soft, unhurried, as if the city itself had exhaled. Overnight, the committee's digital vault released every scanned form from the boxes, 142 pages searchable. A sidebar showed user-added bookmarks, the most visited tag reading PTSD retreat letters. For once, curiosity outpulled outrage. Cable panels cooled. One analyst noted the hearings had de-weaponized the charges. Another marveled that a teenager had delivered the clearest spreadsheet tutorial Congress had seen in years. Hashtags still buzzed, but the edge dulled. Even jokesters migrated to fresher drama, a Senate resignation, a celebrity breakup. In her Capitol office, Jasmine recorded a brief statement. No bravado, no posters, just a promise to pursue broader reform of discretionary accounts regardless of party. She did not name Melania nor Barron. Staffers sensed the shift. The ledger for now was closed. Near noon, an email reached the East Wing from Chair Donnelly. No follow-up testimony required. Committee satisfied with documentation. McCabe forwarded it to Barron with a single-line legs, longer than noise, and a thumbs-up emoji he'd never used before. Barron pocketed the phone and wandered to the map room where boxes, once stacked, now sat empty, flattened for recycling. He traced a finger along the cardboard seam, surprised by the quiet weight of relief and by the awareness that relief was temporary. Another controversy would come. That was Washington's gravity. But he'd learned the Terrain Act documents stay calm. On the south portico steps, Melania waited with 2 cups of chamomile. They sipped in companionable silence until she asked, almost shy, "Would you have done it the same way, knowing the storm?" He thought a moment. "Yes. Maybe file the report sooner." A small grin tugged her lips. He realized it was the first genuine smile he'd seen on her in days. Clouds broke sunlight lancing through. Garden crews resumed trimming hedges as if nothing extraordinary had happened. Barron watched them work, feeling the moment settle into memory. He wasn't a policymaker, not yet, but he had discovered something sturdier than outrage, evidence, patience, and a voice steady enough to carry both. Tomorrow, someone else would dominate the scroll. Today, the ledger stood tall, and that was enough.